Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be continuing where we left off from our last video, and I'm going to be using the title block that we made to create the rest of our sheets. So to start off with, we're going to need to place a view in here. I already labeled that as level 1, so I'm going to go ahead and put level 1 in here. It's actually really simple. All you do is click on it once to highlight it, and then you'll drag it in. And there you go. It'll follow your cursor until you click a spot. And that's how you place it in a sheet. Now the first thing that you're going to notice obviously is that this is too big to fit onto the sheet. So we're going to go back to level 1. And then we can change the scale. So if we want it smaller, let's try 3/64. We can go back to sheet 1 to check it. And yes, it looks like the right size. You can click on it again to move it around. And now the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to hide elements in the sheet that we may not want there. For instance, you're going to see these little arrows north, west, south, and east. We don't really need them there. So in order to do that, and also a way to edit this within a sheet is if I click on it, I can click Activate View. So in order to hide elements, I'm going to click on it, then I'm going to right click, and I could go to Hide in View, and I can click on Elements or Category. So Elements is going to delete just that single north arrow, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But if I go to East and I right click, Hide in View, and I do Category, it's going to do everything that's a similar type. So if I do that, yes, you'll notice that all the rest of the arrows are all gone now. So I can double click anywhere to click out of Activate View. I'm going to adjust it where I want in the sheet. I might even make that a little bit smaller. And also, you're going to see this viewport label here. That's going to come in automatically whenever you import a view. They come in handy when you have multiple views in one sheet, so it may not seem necessary when you have just one view on a smaller sheet like this, but we're still going to leave it there for organization. Because this is automatically going to tell you level 1, it tells you the view that it comes from and the scale that it is. Which, if you notice, is already automatically uploaded here in scale 3/64 out of 1 foot. So it automatically did that. Didn't quite make it in the box, but you can always edit that later in the title block. So that is how you import a level 1 view. And now I'm going to show you how to duplicate this with a few more sheets. I'm going to right click, New Sheet. I'm going to do our title block that we already saved. And yes, it's going to come right in. Then next, to do the floor plan, you would just basically repeat the same process. So I'm just going to show you how to do another view. I'm going to show you how to do a west. And I'm actually going to do a section instead of just the side view. I'll show you why. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to the west section right here. And I'm going to extend this up. I want to see the full building. So there we go, now I see the full building. But you may notice the reason I chose the west section is that way, if I don't want to see all of these beams and columns behind it, if I go to level 1 again, you may notice that it hid the section, so I'm going to go to level 2 now. If I click west section, I can change these arrows, pull them in closer. Now if I go to west section, these extra beams here are going to be shorter, so you can tell where this section is going to view, or excuse me, what this section would look like if we didn't see anything behind it. You can also do a full view if you do want to see the vertical columns behind it. That's totally fine. It's personal preference what you think is important to see. So let's go back to this view. And there we go, now we have the full building. Now we are definitely going to need to change the scale again because that is way too big. So let's try 1/64. That's a little small. 1/32. That is just about right. I don't think we can get it any bigger. So, but we should notice that these dimensions right here, they're all pretty close together. They're going to be hard to read. So, what we're going to do is edit this view. So, first thing I'm going to do, activate view. I don't want to see this box in this view. So I'm going to click that, right click, hide and view by elements. Now that's gone. And I'm going to go back to the west section here. You'll notice that these are going to kind of go over the building, which doesn't look nice. So I'm going to click one of these, click this dot, and I'm going to drag it out. So there, now we can see that away from the view. Which, yes, that looks nice in the sheet, but they're still a little too close together. So what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of keeping it neat, I'm going to choose to only keep the floor level elevations for the smallest floor and the largest floor. So that would be floors 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, and 21. So to do that, I'm going to click one, then I'm going to press and hold Control, and I'm going to click all the floors that I want to hide. Then I click right click, hide and view by elements. And there we go. Now we see a lot less elevations. And there we go. Now the drawing is a lot more legible and easier to read. So, and then again, we're going to have to change the sheet properties here. So if we go to unnamed, and we notice tutorial project, same it was in the last sheet because it's a project property. It's going to stay the same on every sheet. Let's name this West View. And you notice the scale automatically changed again, but you are going to need to change that in the title block to make it look right. And that is the west section. And next I'm going to show you, well, first I'm going to change the sheet number. I want to name that B1 because I want all my floor plans to be one type and I want all my side views to be another type, just for organization to help you find the sheets you want easier. So next, I'm going to show you how to do a call out. I'm just going to go ahead and name this now. And I'm going to name this A.1.1. Need to change the horizontal constraints on that too in the title block, but I'm not going to worry about that for right now, but you will later. So let's go back to level 1, and let's say I want to get a closer look of this corner right here. So what I'm going to do is go to View, click Callout. Callout is similar to a section, but instead of just having one side, it's like drawing your own little square of what you want to see. I want to move this bubble to a place where I can read it easier. And now if I double click that, yep, that is our callout view. We can also add dimensions to make it easier to read. And yes, I'm gonna change the scale just because it doesn't need to be this big anymore. I'm gonna try, say, 1/8. That might be too big. I'm actually just gonna change it back to 3/32 for now. And you notice I also have these options here, so say I want to change a callout later. If I click these dots, I can see more of the floor plan, or if there's more extra I want to see, like for instance this dimension got cut out, I can pull this in, pull it out, just to make sure I got everything in the callout that I want. And you'll also notice that it automatically put in the grid lines that were in that area, which we're gonna need to be able to tell where this is. So let's go to our new sheet. Then I'm gonna drag in the callout. Oops, clicked on it. Yes, it looks about right. But I'm gonna go to activate view because I don't want these section labels necessarily in the sheet. So hide in view by category. Now I can center this. You're going to need to edit those dimensions to make them look neater. I'm not sure why that CL is there, but you can get rid of that too if you need to. And that's how you put in a callout. Callouts are great if you want to be able to actually tell the details and maybe how these connecting once you have the specifics of how they do connect to put in, or if you're going to later on going to be adding room titles or beam names, stuff like that. You are going to need callouts to get a better view. So that's how you create a sheet with a callout. So now we have the floor plan, a callout. You can bring this in. Also, to bring this in, all you have to do is click on this box first, then these dots will be available for you to move. We made our west view. And then lastly, we're going to be doing an isometric view. So what I'm going to do for my isometric view is I'm just going to click 3D, drag it in, and you notice that that's massively too big. Let's try 1 out of 32. Still a little big. I'm gonna try that. And yep, that looks good. You won't be able to add any dimensions into an isometric view. This is just to give a general overview of what your building may look like. That's one thing you're also going to notice is that this is very busy right here. This has all the beams, all the columns. It's pretty hard to read like this. So if you do want to make it neater, something you can do is I'm going to select everything. This may take a while to load because it's a lot. I'm going to click filter. And let's say maybe I don't want to see the structural framing anymore. I just want to see columns and floors. Actually, I'm just going to change it to columns and structural. No, sorry, I'm going back to the original plan of floors and structural columns. Apply. Wait, sorry. I did that wrong. I meant to click everything else. Apply. Okay. Now that I have that selected, I can right click and I can do hide in view. You won't be relying on an isometric view. You may not even really need it in the sheet, but this can be good to just give an overview saying that it looks good, and that's how you put it into a sheet. And you don't have to filter it. That's just to help it make it look neater and more legible. And yes, those are how I made the beginning sheets. If you want to add more side views, more callouts, you're just going to be repeating that same process. But that is how you make sheets in Revit.